Alright, here we've got... Let me just turn off the Nintendo since it was actually producing a lot of background noise. Here is the rest of my CPS2 collection. All of them, except for Pocket Fighter, are still on the original battery. The Pocket Fighter's actually been Phoenixed, but it was actually Phoenixed by myself. So it is still an original Pocket Fighter. It wasn't a conversion or anything like that. But it came to me, and by the time I received it, it was actually just green screening. So popped out the battery and Phoenixed it. And since then, it's been working great. And actually, they're a lot of fun. The X-Men vs. Street Fighter is just a deal I couldn't pass up. And it's an okay game, but not my favorite. I actually got the A and the B boards together, and with the B board thrown in, it made the X-Men vs. Street Fighter like $30, so I figured why not? I could use the extra motherboard anyways. I wasn't even sure it would function when it got to me, and honestly the battery needs to be replaced on that guy. Right here at my feet, it's my Naomi GD-ROM setup. Right now I only have Virtual Tennis. I hope to get the compact flash adapters soon and be able to play some of those games. I was hoping to get Monkey Ball, but actually ended up failing that. I couldn't get the deal worked out for the panel, and honestly it's just getting a little too expensive for me, and especially since the Monkey Ball 2 is so much fun on GameCube. Okay, over here we get to see my parts stash. I have a full stack. Actually, I should keep that oriented just how you like it. I have a full stack of Nintendo versus PCBs. All of them but one works right now, and most of them are actually populated with 2 games. I'm working on getting Balloon Fight and Wrecking Crew up, but I don't have those as of yet. Right here, and I also have got a original CPS1 Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition fully working as well. I've got an extra. Let me put this on the floor. I don't want to put it on another PCB. I've got a Blast City panel. I actually picked this one up and then ended up getting the reproduced new panel that's actually on the Blast City right now. But yeah, I figured it's not bad to have a spare. I might wire it up a little bit differently, so I've got this one sitting aside. Then on my bookshelf of random stuff, you can see I've got a crap load of Neo Geo stuff. I'm actually ordered some shock boxes, and we'll be getting shock boxes in all of these. In the one that does not have a label, it's actually Metal Slug 2. I've actually got all the Samurai Showdowns except for Samurai Showdown 5 Special. So I'm not looking to get that one because it's honestly a little cost prohibitive. Yes, the Aero Fighters, it's got an awful reproduced label. It came to me like that. It's still a fun game, and I'm not going to get rid of it. More likely to rip this label off and leave the original one there, but for now it's just left. Mr. Do is my only bootleg. I purchased it as such. It's got an obvious boot label, and honestly it's a lot of fun, but one I'm not going to spend $100 on, so I'll just leave it at that. Let's see here. And trust me, that's probably my second worst, or right tied at first for worst reproduced label. The worst one's on the Blazing Star in the cabinet. I've actually got 2 138-in-1s. One doesn't work, and it was sold to me as such, and sure enough, yeah, it came. Did not work, so I've got to figure out what's going on with it, but this one actually works just fine. I've also got several 1-slot boards here. Here's a 1-slot, and in my pile of junk is another 1-slot. And underneath this pile of stuff, there are actually a couple of parts, Neo Geo boards, a couple of 4 slots. They're not really worth salvaging, mostly because when I got them as parts, and the PCB was actually snapped in half, so I just left it as is and didn't bother trying to do anything with it. But I've actually got a 2-slot board in there that works just fine. It's actually 100% working. Honestly, works a little bit better than the 4-slot that's in the cabinet, but I like having the 4 games in there. Then let's go around right here. I have Mortal Kombat 2 fully working. The only thing lacking, I don't have a kick harness. I'm actually looking to try to construct one to go into the Sega I/O adapter inside the Blast City, and also get one for Mortal Kombat 1, which I actually have boxed up right now. So I've got Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. I'd really like to mount them on one of these boards so I could just slide into the Blast City and have a 2-in-1 JAMMA switcher, but it's looking kind of doubtful on that, mostly because once I put them on the board I realized these boards take up about as much room as is in there, so I'd really have to kind of construct a housing to have both of them in there at once. And then finally, if I can get out of the light, the original setup for this Blast City was, you guessed it, bass fishing. Right now it works almost fully. The motor on this panel does not function. I believe it's just the capacitor. I'm trying to source one right now, and also on the joystick or on the reel, the little select button actually does not function, so I need to look into that. But it's still playable, but honestly I get more use out of the cabinet as a JAMMA, so I've left it as such. And that's pretty much the conclusion. I've done quite a bit to clean up this Blast City cabinet. This is the reproduction panel that I have on it right now. I've seen a couple of other people with it. I've got the top from Groovy Game Gear. It's actually really nice not having the seam. I'll probably buy another one, buy a matching white one. Overall, I've done just a lot of cleaning in this guy to get it to where it is. There's still some signs of abuse from its previous life, but hopefully I can get it up to snuff. And of course I've actually got a working dollar bill validator, just because, well, had the hole already, so why not stick one in there. And you could see the abuse that the Neo Geos had. It had a lock bar in it. I still need to patch those holes and get the T-molding set up, but I mean, that's kind of taken a back seat just because, well, functions just fine. Actually, the first order of business on this guy is probably to replace these joysticks. They work fine in most games. The only downside is they're really cheap, and as you can see right there, it's not hitting any switches. It's just that little block underneath. If it gets switched around, it doesn't hit anything. So it happens a lot of times when you're playing a game and all of a sudden locked. So, but that is my arcade, and it's very small and quaint right now, but I enjoy it quite a bit, and I'm hoping to get maybe a few more cabinets and maybe a pinball in here, but I've got to make room first and make the wife happy. But oh well, I hope you guys all enjoyed. All right,